name is Steve Fellinger. I'm the ODOT project manager.
My name is Randy McClellan. I'm the project manager for JMT on the project.
My name is Gail Massey. I'm the project manager for the TranSystems part of the project.
Design of the project included realignment of 5 mainline pairs of bridges, 5.5 miles of reconstruction of 71 with widening both to the inside or the outside depending on the section you were in, 3 interchanges within the project that got revised in different ways, coordination with other teams as far as making the projects fit together. Original project cost for the project as bid was just over $113 million. And to this point in time, final construction cost is in at right around $122 million. As we were going through the MOT analysis, realized that we were putting down an enormous amount of temporary pavement just to be able to maintain the lanes we needed to maintain. And it became apparent that just by adding a couple inches of additional asphalt to the makeup of that, we could make that permanent pavement. So we quickly made a recommendation and altered the project into a widening project where we could keep the pavement instead of having to tear it out after we put it down. By leaving the pavement, making it permanent, it became a couple inches thicker, but in the end, that couple inches of pavement difference was offset by not having to remove the pavement. It was really a benefit all the way around.
In November of 2014, we met with the Army Corps of Engineers. It was kind of comical. In the first 5 minutes of the conversation, they said that they needed funding to expedite their review. So we met again then in December. We drove to Huntington, West Virginia, and had a conversation with about 30 individuals. And that process took probably 2.5 years by the time we ended up getting the 408 permit for the project. So it delayed the project by a couple of years. It was a great sigh of relief to finally get the 408 permit approved.
Normally the utility company would do their own design. We ended up doing the design for the power lines, flood wall relocations, having to deal with meeting Army Corps requirements, which were ever changing as they were trying to figure out what their new processes would be post-Katrina.
There's a lot of science that goes into the flood wall rather than just being a barrier that separates.
This is the flood wall. It's part of a T-wall construction as far as what was built originally. The purpose of the flood wall that we're seeing here is to protect Franklinton, which is to the west of us, from the Scioto River, which runs to the east of us. So the first year was a maintenance nightmare trying to keep up with the potholes in the pavement because it was going fast. Originally we'd budgeted, I believe, $1 million in pavement repair for it, and I believe it ended up being almost $2 million by the time the project was over, and just trying to keep up with pothole repair. It was an everyday effort between the contractor and the construction team to make sure that they were keeping the road passable.
By the time we got in, our project was originally supposed to be northbound and southbound, taking care of the weave between Stringtown Road and 270, with JMT's project coming through and doing the major rehab of the through lanes. And then one day we had a meeting with Steve where he said, we're going to be splitting your project up into 2 pieces to accelerate the one piece to go with JMT's project. So we ended up being part 2 to their part 1. The acceleration of the project meant that we had to actually do stage 1 2 tracings in 4 months. It was pretty fast. In order to achieve a schedule that fast, obviously we couldn't stick with a normal schedule, normal submittal and review times. So we combined our stage 2 and stage 3 into one plan set. So we had stage 1, stage 2, 3, and the tracings. We also had over-the-shoulder reviews with ODOT where we would come in and they would actively look at what we were designing while we were designing it so that we could minimize review time for them. So it was over 500 sheet set of plans, a brand new bridge, a rehab bridge, and those things are not quick to design.
So there was a lot of coordination that went on for that aspect of it, which our sub-consultants, EMH&T and BNN, both had a significant role in making sure that we got everything we needed for the end product.
These projects just don't happen if you don't coordinate. Even if you have a normal schedule, everybody's got to be on the same page.
Without working with each other, we'd never be able to match lines. We'd never be able to have one project match another project. They wouldn't fit well together. So it's critical that we work closely together.
Communication is key in everything. We had to make sure that all the subs have, all the updated base maps all the time, daily coordination, weekly meetings. We're talking about multiple teams of multiple subs working together towards the same goal.
I'm very pleased with both JMT and TranSystems. They really came to the project with solutions and not just a lot of questions, so that was very helpful to me. And I think we built a great relationship. We were kind of forced into just with adding the part 2 so late in the game. Proud of the 2 teams that we put together.
I'm with the 150,000 other people that drive the road and say, I don't have to stop all the time. I'm not stuck. The increased capacity has been amazing. The road is really smooth. It's easy to drive. It's a fun place to go, and there's always that sense of pride you get when you drive through something that you had a part of and say, I did some of this.